you tell us about your sign?
Yes. Government recognized terrorism, MLK, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Luigi, Mangione. And this just speaks to the fact that historically, many human rights leaders who have stood up against mistreatment, against apartheid, have also been labeled as terrorists to sow doubt and fear.
Obviously, what Luigi did was an act of violence. Not going to touch on that as much, but he
has lifted us out of the dust in the trivialness of politics and legislation.
And I believe that this is being done to send a message.
Healthcare should not be for profit. Yeah. That is the bare minimum. If you put profit anywhere near protecting human life, people will prioritize profit. You cannot have a for-profit system that prioritizes human life and profit. It is impossible.
I've had somebody on the floor fainting, on the verge of dying, who was literally saying, begging, please don't call an ambulance because my family cannot afford it. Do you know what it is to have somebody in so much pain and only thinking my family cannot afford it? I'd like to ask the public in general, why is there a correlation with profit and denying people the right to healthcare in their most vulnerable moments?
As you may be aware, there are some current health insurance policies out, such as limiting the number of hours of anesthesia that will be covered by health insurance for patients. And recently, another health insurance company changed their policy on benefits for children with autism. Yeah. At the end of the day, our message is not to comment on any healthcare policy alternatives, but to state insurance companies, business people, and people looking to make a profit should not be the ones in charge of which healthcare treatments or procedures people can receive.
Yeah. Health overwhelmed!
What's up, guys? 2:28 p.m., December 21st, 2024. I'm here at Washington Square Park in New York City. There appears to be a few things going on right now. There's a rap battle cipher happening. There's some kind of TikTok dance challenge, a Free the Hostages protest. And I'm at the Free Luigi rally. You guys probably know who Luigi is. He's being held at MDC in Brooklyn right now.
Nigga in there for a body, but he doing the right thing. I said Luigi been the dawn since he put his Pampers on. Vagabonds ran out the mouth like a marathon. Spazzing out, he hopped in the whip, then he carried on with the shooters, got more names than every on. Free Luigi, gang, that ass. Free Luigi. I'll trade plays. I've been in jail for 5 years. He don't know what it's like yet.
He is suspected of assassinating the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson is dead after being shot in Midtown Manhattan. The shooting happened near the Midtown Hilton. Thompson was not staying in the hotel, but we've learned he was in New York for an investors conference.
According to a manifesto that was leaked by investigative journalist Ken Klippenstein, who we interview later in this video, Luigi has a major problem with the health insurance industry, and possibly health insurance claim denials, which essentially means insurance companies refusing to cover the cost of medical treatment for insured patients, aka paying customers. For you pampered Europeans out there who don't know what freedom tastes like, let me explain something to you. In the United States, on top of sales and personal income tax, we also pay, on average, $550 a month to private companies for something called health insurance, who in return give us a cool card that we take to the doctor when something goes wrong. At the hospital or at the front desk of an urgent care clinic, the doctor or receptionist, before telling you what's wrong or what the options are for treatment, will first ask you if you have the card or not. If you don't have the card, just getting into the door and being seen by a doctor is between 2 to 10 times more expensive. Then after you're in there, the tomfoolery continues. After a doctor diagnoses you and makes a recommendation as to what they believe is the correct course of action, whether it be surgery, therapy, medication, or what have you, they have to file a claim with your insurance provider and ask them, you know, the ones you're paying, if it's in budget for their company. This is called filing a health insurance claim. In some cases, companies will deny the claims, which forces doctors and physicians to present their patients with a depressing ultimatum. Either pay exorbitant uninsured rates for care, or if you can't afford it, get the hell out of here, you sick bastard, and come back with some money. And if you can't find some money, you could submit an appeal and begin that lengthy process, which on average takes over 180 days, a window in which 47% of respondents said their health condition got worse. United Healthcare, of which Brian Thompson was the CEO, has the highest claim denial rate of any other major health insurance company. Part of this has to do with the fact that during COVID, the company began using AI to assess and deny claims.
Data is at the core of our agenda to improve healthcare, which directly influences how we develop innovative consumer solutions.
According to a class action lawsuit filed in Minnesota by the estates of 2 deceased patients, the AI tool they deployed, called NaviHealth, now defunct, had a known 90% error rate, but the company refused to fix the problem, leading to a series of protests and more litigation from across the country, way before Luigi entered the picture.
Complicating the crime Thompson was under investigation for insider trading. The city of Hollywood's Firefighters Pension Fund is part of a class action lawsuit against Thompson and United Healthcare.
These parasites had it coming, Luigi allegedly writes, framing Brian Thompson as a predatory businessman and himself as an arbiter of karmic retribution. Thompson leaves behind a soon-to-be ex-wife and 2 teenage sons, which is sad. People dying sucks. However, 41% of young voters polled by Emerson College in Boston say the assassination was quote-unquote acceptable. And the past few weeks on social media have seen a rabid frenzy of cult-like Luigi worship, exalting him as a righteous reaper who took matters into his own hands. Something of a communist Kyle Rittenhouse, fulfilling a deep, almost primal void that so many have had for an Italian-American anti-hero since Tony Soprano left us in 2007.
His commissary good, he got bitches visiting him, all that.
Despite having pled not guilty, market data suggests that Luigi hats are flying off the shelves at record rates. And with no progressive policy change in the cards for the next 4 years, scores of young progressives have been given hope.
This is a person that he saw was the head of a company that was guiding a company that implemented an AI system to deny claims to vulnerable people, elderly people, that had a denial rate of over almost 90%, that was continuing, to just profit off of widespread suffering.
If you were to ask how many people who are insured get denied their health care claims, there's no math on that because they will never release those numbers. They don't have to, and it would incriminate them. If you were to ask how many were uninsured and die every year, it's approximately 48,000, which is 4,000 people a month, 130 a day, 5 an hour, and 1 person every minute and a half is dying in this country because they're being held hostage by the health insurers. Every person that dies does not just die. They are killed by the health insurance system. They are assassinated. They are executed by the capitalist system for profit.
Wow.
And so to pretend that one man in charge of that system being executed is somehow more important than every single person every minute and a half who is being executed it's abominable.
Imagine carefully planning the execution of someone you don't even know, haven't met, someone who hasn't done a thing to you, and now he's a hero to some on the left.
The media pretends that because you shoot somebody, it's somehow more unacceptable than to sign a paper denying somebody coverage and signing their death warrant. But it's murder just the same.
As sad as death is, I mean, this country has been built on blood and death. And
the president and the vice president are posing and smiling with a known murderer, Daniel Penny, who we know murdered a man. Whether the legality lets him go to prison or go free is a completely different thing. So I would say to the president, if he would stop eating McDonald's and get out of the golf resort, he could maybe ask the billionaire who's dog walking him if he could start working for healthcare for the people that elected him.
Because health is one of the most important things to being human. It's one of the things that continue to make us humane, that allow us to do all of the things that society continues to build on, all the things that make you happy, activities, whatsoever. If you are not in good health, then that basically closes the door to every other thing that you would like to do in life. And every other major first world nation, and all of the others, have universal health care.
I came down here because personally I'm going through the whole healthcare thing. I got the same back surgery as Luigi. Probably, December 24th.
Can you explain exactly what that surgery is?
It is a surgery on your lumbar. It would be, I believe that would be the L4 and 5 that I got the surgery on.
Lumbar is like the lower part of your back?
Yeah, the lumbar down at the bottom here. And also I got one in my neck.
According to Reddit posts made by Luigi, he underwent a pretty difficult spinal surgery last year for chronic back pain, specifically in the lower lumbar region, where he had a misalignment that caused him extreme pain, unable to look up, arch his back, surf, rock climb, or be intimate. The surgery, called a discectomy, typically costs between $15,000 and $50,000 without insurance. And even those who can afford it often find themselves waiting months and even years for care.
So when I got my surgery, it was a year and a half of trying to get the ability to get the surgery, and the whole time I had nerve damage. Now I have permanent nerve damage, and they're saying that a lot of it was because I had to sit around for so long. So what they gave me was like a medication. I was on pain like opiates. now the insurance companies are saying that it's not a long-term thing. I can't sleep. I can't do anything without like medication. I'm at the point where I can't even afford to keep going with insurance. I haven't worked for 2 years since this incident. And like, I guess the reason why I'm down here is because I keep hearing, you know, about everybody suffering from the healthcare system. And like myself, I'm about to be homeless. Like I lost everything. I was making about $114K a year. And now I'm down to nothing. When I went to the disability office and everything, I did that over a year and a half ago, and I'm still pending in the courts. I haven't had a first court date. So the whole system is designed to just take you out. Like in the next 2-3 months, I'm going to have to find a way to move. I don't have any family. So I'm going to go hang out with some friends and try to do that while I'm suing a company for what happened. But in the meanwhile, there's no help or health care. And now I'm looking down that I won't have any medication, which means I can't go on walks, I can't sleep, I can't sit, I can't do anything comfortably, I can't even cook. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on with me.
What's the medication you're taking?
Oxycodone. 10 by 325. I used to be on 5 a day, so 50 milligrams.
Recognizing that his opiate tolerance was getting far too high, Nicholas asked his doctor to be prescribed pregabalin, an epilepsy medication that also helps with nerve pain.
But the problem with that is once you start taking it for like a month or two, once you stop taking it, the rate for like seizures as a side effect is really high, I'm being told. So no doctors even want to give that to me because I live by myself. You know, I live in Midtown, and I'm about to have no help whatsoever. I'm down to my last 6 days of medication, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to take my email down, we can try to help you. I don't know if you need help moving or, you know, we have extra money and shit if you need help. I mean, it sounds like you just look like I got you, man. Yeah, well, I want to help you, man. It sounds horrible.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
After this interview, I decided to launch a GoFundMe to help Zam move, pay rent, and afford medication, which I kicked off with a $1,000 donation. I hope that collectively we can all pitch in a few bucks and help him to at least get some relief in this objectively horrible situation. He struck me as a great guy, and I'm very blessed to have the platform to help people who need it. I've put the link in the pinned comment in the description of this video. All right, let's go back to the controversial manifesto that was leaked.
Also in his backpack, according to police, a 3-page handwritten manifesto confessing to the murder of United Healthcare's CEO Brian Thompson and ranting about other health insurance bosses.
Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming.
And so whenever you read that manifesto and you noticed that parallel, did you resonate with the frustration that Luigi felt?
I'll be honest, yeah. I don't know if the manifesto is real or not. Like he said, you can't trust anything the NYPD says. Yeah. But in regards to what it said, like not being able to sleep, rolling over, like... Yeah. There were days, I had someone who used to come and help me where if I didn't have medication, like if it was on back order before my surgery... I would be throwing up from the pain. I couldn't, crawling to the bathroom. It was fucking terrible. And sorry. And also if...
It's not the real news. You can curse all you want.
As illustrated by this conversation, there's been many disputes regarding the authenticity of the alleged Luigi manifesto. However, the journalist who leaked it is quite reputable, so I believe it to be real. And I had many questions for him. Here's what Ken had to say.
I'm Ken Klippenstein. I'm an investigative reporter.
You made the choice to leak Mangione's manifesto to the public. I want to know why you made that choice.
Well, I just thought it was media paternalism at its worst to withhold this on, I think, the dubious grounds that releasing this out to the public is going to be like some kind of code word, like in the Manchurian Candidate, where it's just going to activate something in everyone's brain and cause them to take out acts of violence against other CEOs. I mean, all this sounds very familiar to me. It reminds me of the argument that violent video games is causing shootings. I think it's just scapegoating something else because people don't want to deal with the underlying issue of why would the health insurance industry produce grievances of the sort that would cause people to find memes about this person dying funny. That's the question that people should be looking at. And to me, that is the kind of active ingredient in all of this that's driving the response that some people find distasteful. But instead of looking at that, they're just kind of wagging their finger and saying, oh, if we just take it down from everywhere. I mean, I had, internal chats from the New York Times staff leaked to me showing that they were instructed from on high above, like senior management, telling them we need to, quote, dial down the use of Mangione's photo, his headshot in pictures. The idea being we don't want to, play into the glorification of him. And the idea that a picture of somebody is going to intrinsically just, again, cause everyone, it shows you how much contempt they have for the public, that they think people are zombies that are just going to see something and just act it out. And there's no critical thought that happens.
Is that their version of populism, killing CEOs?
And look, to the extent that they're justifying this, what they're doing even worse is they're tacitly encouraging copycats.
So you're saying that the CEOs and the government are scared of like a V for Vendetta final scene in Joker contagious wave of assassinations happening?
In fact, they use that word contagion. If you look at what the head of NYPD intelligence, which is a very big office, NYPD is, on the footing of a national agency, multi-billion-dollar budget. And she gave a public speech to the Atlantic Council, a think tank, in which she described this explicitly in, counterterror terms, including the speech being expressed in support of Mangione. And so it's not just about him as an individual. They are treating this, like you said, and using the word contagion. There's this whole, law enforcement theory that it is almost like the Cold War. Or Vietnam, the idea that it's going to jump from communism will jump from one country to another and then it'll spread to another. I haven't seen any evidence for that. To date, there's no example of somebody shooting someone else in response to this. There is an example of a lot of people posting mean tweets and things, but to say that that is comparable to, murdering somebody, there's just no comparison. And so there's no evidence for it. I mean, I guess what they would say is, well, wait and see.
Yeah.
But what it says to me is that there's a lot of people in the intelligence community that don't know how to read the internet and don't understand irony and don't understand sarcasm and don't understand, shit posting. And so they take it at face value and say, wow, there's this army of V for Vendetta masks that are just going to, come out in force with pitchforks and come after us. And that really seems to be what the manner in which they're responding. It's a sort of moral panic I think we're seeing right now. And my hope is that people will look at more and more of the evidence come out, not just in the form of the manifesto, but the trial that's going to happen, and say, hey, there's much more to this story than that some guy snapped and just went crazy or whatever.
Yeah, I think there's a big conversation to be had too around the idea of violence. I think that, of course, we know shooting someone in the head or in the body, wherever he was shot, that's violence. That's, you're shooting someone. People think of fist fighting and those kind of actions. Assassinations that's violence. But they don't use that term when they think about policies that lead to people dying and healthcare and medicine prices that result in people dying or people claiming that effectively is a form of violence. You might not be being strangled to death, but you would have otherwise lived if it wasn't for their policies.
Yeah. And when you look at the urgency of the discussion around this, let's be frank, one person who died, again, there has been no other attempt to kill anybody anywhere else, no evidence of a copycat attack. It's hard to look at that and say there's any other reason for that than that he was a really rich, powerful person. And he's still benefiting from that status even in death, while literally tens of thousands of people die from having to ration insulin, for just one example, something that costs pennies on the dollar to manufacture. It's a disgrace. What do you even say to that? And the fact that the people in sort of the corporate media can't understand why somebody would be driven to rage over that, whether or not you support what he did, not understand that mindset. It's like, wow, they're really out of touch. They don't get it.
Yeah, they never will get it, but it's okay. If you'd like to see our full, uncut interview with Ken, where we break down the manifesto sentence by sentence and discuss everything under the sun, go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/channel5. As many of you know, we are totally independent and mostly crowdfunded. So if you'd like to support us and see some uncensored, exclusive content, head on over. I'll put the link also in the description and bio. Thanks.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority, Channel 5 News.
Channel 55. We don't fuck with custers. And 5 is the best number.
I could charge you $200, for this video alone. I said a lot of things.
I can charge you $200 too.
You can't. You know why? You know you can't?
Why?
I'm a part of Lyrical Lemonade, which is a contract company. I said 4 things that are copyrighted. I'm under them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know Cole?
Cole?
Yeah.
Cole Bennett?
Yeah.
He actually has 3 videos of mine on YouTube.
Damn, so you got a lot of shit going on.
This is a reminder that we also have a lot of shit going on. And one particular new project that we're very excited about. It's called Canal 5 con Andrés Callahan. Some of you may have seen our coverage of gentrification in Mexico City or sex tourism in Tijuana and got the inkling that Channel 5 was expanding its operations to the Spanish-speaking world. Well, Dios mío, you're goddamn right, and we've taken things a step further and hired an actual team of voice actors to overdub all the classic Channel 5 videos. So you can watch classics like Connecticut Kia Boys,
cualquier destornillador, cualquier cable USB y consigue el auto que quieras.
Crip Mac,
Coster es así en la 55.
The Hoff Twins.
Oye, este también es mi barrio, puedo hacer esto, esta es mi casa. Sigue grabando, negro.
And even more recent videos like West Virginia Snake Church.
Sí, su nombre es Jesús.
All in Spanish. but we need some help getting our new channel off the ground. So if you guys don't mind, head over, give us a sub, a comment, or a like. Thanks so much. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment in the description along with the others. Have a great Christmas.
Canal 5 en vivo en todo el mundo, Hollywood y Viña.
Que se joda la autoridad. Noticias del Canal 5.
Canal 55. No jodemos con casters. Y 5 es el mejor número.